On today's episode of Filthy Hope, we'll be talking about some issues that might be a trigger for some people. We'll be talking about disordered eating, sexual assault, and other things that some might find upsetting. We hope that you find something valuable in this, but if this is something that you find triggering as you listen to this, or you suspect might be triggering to you, please don't put yourself through it. We'll have helplines down in the bottom in our comment section. So there's things like Lifeline and other places. And if you're listening in other areas that are not Australia, there are places that you can reach out to. So make sure if you don't feel safe or you feel triggered in this, that you talk to somebody and get some help.
You went there having had a traumatic experience.
I was sexually assaulted. No matter how scared I was, I held my ground because nothing could undo what happened.
In New South Wales, only 8% of people that report sexual assault result in a conviction.
Even up until the week before sentencing, I was having panic attacks about the sentencing hearing and feeling like it's all my fault.
Filthy Hope, faith with no filter.
A grounded space to wrestle with faith.
Welcome back to Filthy Hope. We have raw and honest conversations, faith with no filter.
Grit and grace.
I'm John.
And I'm Ness.
And we have friend sister, Sarah Rose.
Yay, clap track.
For those who may have not watched our podcast in the past, Sarah Rose has told part of her story in the past. So way back, if you go right down the playlist, you might find that, or, smart people going, well, John, just search it. But we're revisiting that, and we're going to have two conversations with Sarah Rose. One is about her story, so people who are new watching, and plus there's updates since you last talked about, which was over 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And then we're going to have a conversation around some pretty gritty topics, but looking for hope in the midst of what can seem a hopeless situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Great intro, Reverend Brother.
Thank you, Reverend Sister.
Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, it's great to have you, Sarah, at the table, and welcome to the new studio.
Thank you. I love it.
It's going okay.
It's good.
Yeah. Sarah, your story is phenomenal, and I've been blessed to be in your life for a couple of years now and to know about some of the really deep, the grit and the grace of your story. And I'm wondering if you can unpack that for us.
Who is Sarah Rose?
Yeah.
For those who haven't watched before, what do you want people to know about you and your story?
Well, let's just get existential straight away, shall
Yeah.
we? Well, you've been in my life for about 4 years, Ness. So you have seen a lot of it, and I would say you've seen many different versions of me over those 4 years. So there's different things to know about, different parts and different stages of my life. But I'm Sarah. I'm 24. The most important thing about me is I am a puppy mum and an auntie to a dog and a beautiful newborn nephew. I am a practice manager, so I work full time, and I am an ex-professional ballerina, so I still teach a little bit on the side.
What do you practice, manage?
So I practice manage 3 allied health clinics around Sydney.
Okay,
Yeah.
so working with that.
Yeah,
Cool.
so kind of across of managing the office staff as well as the practitioners and general customer facing things and all that side of things. So that's the main gig of making me an office girl these days, which I certainly wasn't last time we were having this conversation.
If you look back on Sarah's previous story, she was still well and truly entrenched in the dance world.
Yeah. So
And you're still entrenched in the dance world. Do you still dance for fun? You said you teach a bit.
Teach a bit. This is the first year I'm not teaching kids, which is a very, very big change for me.
Yes.
But still teaching adult open classes. I would say this is the first year in a while where I have started to take a few classes for fun. And like I've been to the gym like 3 times this year already.
Oh, go girl,
I know.
3 times.
Thank you. And I think I went to the gym a total of 3 times last year. So I'm trying to I'm finding the space of getting back into movement without, it destroying me.
Well, because movement can be quite triggering for you, can't it?
Movement can be in many different aspects of my life, but I think when something's been your entire life purpose and your entire career and your north compass since you were 5 years old, it's really hard to step into that space and see it as anything else.
Yeah.
So at least I don't want to speak for anyone else, but for me personally, it was really hard for a while there to go to a ballet class and not feel like I should still be able to function and perform the way I used to and not have the same pressure on myself of, you're an ex-professional ballerina or you should be able to do this or there's this and this and if you fall out of a turn, that's bad, go fix it.
Yeah.
Not I fell out of a turn.
You have the liberty just to make a mistake.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, athletes, dancers, or anyone really, I know a lot of people as they enter into retirement face the same thing. Who am I if I'm not what I've done for so much of my life or trained to do and things like that?
Yeah, and I think I said in the previous episode that I experience OCD.
Yeah.
So I think that probably does play into it a little bit. I'm still finding my way on my OCD journey and, as everyone is, I don't want to make it sound like a fun thing because sure as hell isn't.
No.
But I'm still trying to unpack kind of how that influences my life. And today I would say it influences my relationship with movement and dance, but maybe tomorrow I would say differently.
Yeah, it's interesting. In the previous episode, you actually talk about control and you talk about learning to control every fibre of your body and your perfectionism linked right into that as a professional ballerina. Has that changed for you?
I think I'm trying to consciously change it, and I think the way I now approach teaching is don't try and control every fibre of your being. I get, maybe that is a method. I'm not saying it's not, and maybe that works for some people, but I ended up injuring so many different parts of my body. And today, at this point in time, I feel that probably my want to control every inch of my body didn't help that. And I think the way I teach now, that I am trying really hard to learn to bring into the studio on the occasion that I step in myself, and I'm not saying I'm there yet, but it ebbs and flows, is that it's just movement. We've been doing it since we were born. Your body figures it out. You don't have to do it in the same way the person beside you does it. It's about knowing your body and what biomechanically
Giving
suits.
expression.
We're always moving. You never stop moving. Your heart's beating. You've got lungs
Blood
moving.
moving, There
It's
is no such thing as stillness.
No, there's no such thing as stillness. It's just being, I guess, mindful or purposeful about, how that movement
Shaping,
manifests.
which is what dance is. It's shaping movement.
You've come a long way, Sarah, because from this elite
Did it
ballerina.
take therapy?
It took so much therapy, mate. It still takes so much therapy.
Well, that's good. So,
that's
and that's what we want to normalise, that therapy isn't a shameful thing. It's just you go to the doctor when you're sick and when your thinking isn't well or your emotions are out of control, then sometimes we need somebody to help.
On the journey.
Coach us, shape us, actually provide intervention.
So, Sarah, as a little girl, you, like many little girls, you were a little ballerina and you obviously showed such incredible aptitude and you must have excelled in your ballet endeavours as a little one. Can you take us on the journey, because you end up in the United States at 17 as a ballerina working professionally, smacko in the middle of COVID, and it was a bit of a shit fight for you, and you went there having had a traumatic experience.
Yes.
Yeah, so for those who haven't watched the thing, what's the summary
The summary.
that took you up to there?
The thing I will say is there's 2 versions of this summary I can give.
Okay.
There is the version of what I thought at the time.
Nice.
Of probably what I was conscious of.
Yep.
And there's the version that now I can fill a lot more details in looking back. So if you had asked me at the time, always wanted to be a ballerina. I wasn't really born with the body for it. I was lucky enough to have some natural talent, do okay as a young kid, but by the time I reached about 10 years old, I was falling behind and, really working. So at 14, I moved to a ballet school. At 15, I left high school and trained full-time and did distance education online. It was always my dream, and it was pretty much number one
was it
in my life. Like that was it. Every decision, like it anchored every single decision in my life, to the point where I already had my puppies when I moved overseas. And like, like they are my entire world.
Yeah, the babies.
They're my babies.
Yeah.
And like I would leave for 11 months. So I went overseas. I did a summer intensive program, was offered a year-round position in the professional track program at the Washington Ballet.
Which is pretty cool because Washington's like the capital.
Yeah, like we're talking fancy stuff here. Like this woman is elite, This is an elite young ballerina.
You worked really hard.
Yeah.
And so the story is you've worked hard, you've achieved success.
Yeah.
You
and she's
chased
17
your dream.
and she leaves
It's
her mum and
happening.
dad. She leaves her family and pisses
and
off
great
to the
cause
US.
to you. You're doing – so that story is a story of chasing your dreams and –
Yes and no, because if I'm talking about it from the headspace or the thought process I was in at the time, I definitely wouldn't have said that I've made it, I've done amazing, I'm elite.
Yeah, wow. Wow.
I was still fighting every day, never feeling like I was good enough, afraid it was about to all go away. And so went to
and is
professional
that part of the culture within dance, within that?
Yeah.
Around your weight and around your performance, and at any stage you can be let go. Or I did watch your other episode and you did talk about the fact that even when you're in the team, so to speak, you can be put on the bench for the next show.
And more so than that, yes, 100% you can be put on the bench, and every time casting comes out, every week of casting, it's a new clean slate and it's a new fight. But when I first moved over there, I wasn't in the professional company yet, so I was in the training. Yeah. But lucky enough to have been performing with the professional company while I was in the training program. And then the next year I was offered the traineeship with one of the traineeships with the company, so went up. But at least to my knowledge, I've never heard of a company in ballet giving out more than a 12-month contract.
Wow.
So to the best of my knowledge, any ballet company, you were given a job for 12 months. Yeah, you can be put on the bench, as much as they wish during that time, but you have like a reevaluation every year.
Wow.
As to whether you'll get another contract.
Am I good enough? Will I make it? It's that song in our chorus line, is it?
Yeah.
It's will I get it? Will I really get the job?
Yeah.
It's that, isn't it? It's
but there's the other side too, is then are you good enough?
Yeah.
Do they still want me?
Do we think you're good enough?
Yeah.
It's not, it's even then out of your control. It's in somebody else's
Totally.
hand.
Absolutely. It's do they still want me? Do I still get to be here?
Yeah.
And I had a amazing artistic director of my company, an amazing head of school that, I have so much respect for. It's just that's the way ballet works and culture works. And whether my mental health exasperated that, whether I put extra pressure on myself, who knows? And like I said before, at that point in time, I was just, I've been given this opportunity, I'll do anything for ballet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looking back now, there are a few events just before I left that I think did play into my decision and played into my mental health while I was there, and the headspace that I took into a professional career.
Yeah,
right, so that's the young Sarah story.
That's the young Sarah story.
The older, wiser Sarah story. How would you retell it now?
I don't know. I don't think I can say I'm wiser. I've just had more coffee and more wine. But
okay, the looking back.
The looking back. Started ballet. It was an escape. Loved it. It was something I was good at.
What were you escaping?
not one thing in particular.
Yeah.
Just, it gave me a purpose and a point. And like I said in the previous episode, from various different circumstances, around ballet and others, I do experience CPTSD. So, there was aspects of that.
CPTSD.
Complex post-traumatic stress disorder. I had a full mental blank for a second then.
No, that's all right. Really well. Because we use these acronyms all the time. And sometimes the peeps at home don't understand.
And what led to the complex
so
PTSD?
Many different things. That's the thing with complex PTSD. It's not an event that you pinpoint. It's a myriad of events over
It's an aching trauma that has built up over time that's overwhelmed your resilience. So for those who don't know what trauma is when our ability to cope has been overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And so that's whether it's physical trauma, so some sort of injury or an event that's injured our body's ability to cope, or whether it's emotional and mental trauma because of what we see or experience or is inflicted upon us. That's why people of abuse are often traumatized, and people who see even other people being traumatized can be traumatized because it's just one of those things that becomes overwhelming and we don't know how to cope.
Yeah.
And that's why it takes us back to yucky places sometimes.
It does. And I think there are so many different ways in which people experience PTSD and CPTSD. So I can only speak to my experience of it. But, it's not necessarily like sitting there and getting a flashback. Like it can be, but it comes into your life in so many different ways. And so I think ballet was kind of my anchor.
One of your coping mechanisms.
But then in turn
was also a cause.
Yes, of not feeling good enough and, the constant I don't deserve this spot or I'll never be good enough. And I think that then by the time I was entering a professional career, as crazy it is to say, and again, maybe this is my thoughts today, but I don't know that I actually loved ballet anymore. I think it was.
I have a friend who's had a relative who was an elite rower, and she was put into rowing because she had the right physique. I mean, different to your story, obviously, but at the end, after she'd achieved a gold medal, she then finally had the permission to go, well, I actually never really liked rowing.
Yeah. I think I'm starting to enjoy ballet again now, and I loved it for a long time. I really did. But I think maybe it's not that I didn't love it, but it's that the stress and the pressure overwhelmed the love.
Well, it takes the love out because a lot of people find that they chase their passion, turn it into a career, and then suddenly when you have to do it and it's not a choice and there's no freedom anymore.
Correct.
And your livelihood and your sense of self is built onto it. That sort of sucks the joy out of it sometimes.
Yeah, 100%. I think the difference with ballet is you're constantly told you're probably not going to make it. It's your choice to be here. Well, I can't speak to other athletic endeavours, but it's more, at least I found, this pressure of I said I was going to be a ballerina. I love this. Everyone says if you can't handle the hard days, then you're just not cut out for the career. I'm just having a hard period and I felt like I was forcing myself, I wouldn't let myself even contemplate if I still wanted to do it or not, because not doing it
locked in
was failure for me.
Yes.
And it was not an option. Yeah. And looking back now, I'm still glad I did it.
And there would have been moments of joy within that
absolutely
time where you had joyous moments within that.
Yeah.
But if you pictured the general pattern, you're going,
yeah, absolutely. And then your body starts to break down and
then that adds to
your mind
and the stress.
And if you're carrying trauma affiliated with the passion and the thing you love the most, then it is a spiral to a mess, really, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it was this whole I've always been a little bit headstrong. And it's kind of been, it was I said I'm going to do this, and excuse me, but like fuck you all to anyone who tries to
get in my way.
To get in my way.
Yeah.
So moved overseas at 17 and
so bold.
I can see that now, but at the time it was just normal. We all did it.
Right.
All my friends were doing it.
Yeah.
Well,
all
if
your
you want to
ballerina
chase
mates.
the dream,
Yeah.
that's
what you have to
and
do.
you can get into it.
Yeah.
It's like any sport or anything that there's levels.
Yeah.
Once you progress to one level, then the next step is the next step until you get to the elite.
Yeah.
And then you go as long as hard as you can until the next elite person comes in, whether it's Federer or a great, dancer or whoever. There's always the next young breeds coming up, which puts more pressure on.
Absolutely. And like even as a professional to reach elite in ballet, I don't know, many would say that it doesn't even exist. Like there are ranks to climb in the company and there are principals or prima ballerinas, but they are few and far between. And so it also depends on your definition of elite, and my experience in the ballet world was you're always thinking about the next thing and how you should be there, what you need to be doing to work to get there. So even looking back now, I really, really struggle to say that I was an elite or an elite athlete or an elite dancer. I actually feel like I'm lying when I say it.
Wow, that's interesting.
And
well, you hear stories even of performers like Queen that, we're doing well, but you're only one failed flop or one failed movie as an actor or
as
whatever.
An actor, that's what we used to say. You're only as good as your last gig.
And
And
it just takes a bunch of reviews and it's all.
That's it. Over.
Yep.
Yeah.
Grit. You mentioned sometimes your body let you down.
Yes.
But here's the trigger warning, people. That injury led you into the hands of somebody that wasn't actually ultimately helpful. Is that what happened before you went away? So if you haven't watched Sarah's story, before she went away, you experienced?
So I was sexually assaulted by a person who was many things in my life. He was a chiropractor. He was my friend's dad. He was a family friend, although looking back now, he was friends with me and then became friends with my family. He was one of my yoga partners. I was in his tribe, cult.
He was a groomer.
Yeah.
So there was a complex web of relationship, which makes sense that you had complex PTSD.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. And I think there are many, many words that I could call him and say about him, but, I don't want you guys to get beeped off the air, so I won't. But
it was a horrible, awful experience, and we're sorry you went through that.
Thank you.
And then, as you told in your story, part of it was you sort of almost blocked it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And went to
Got the
America.
hell out of here.
Got the hell out of here.
That was part of your moving.
Yeah, I'm running away.
Out of Dodge City, and but then these things don't stay.
Unfortunately not.
Repressed forever, unfortunately. We can repress them.
No.
But something brings it up. So what was it, how did that then resurface in your life and what was the result of that?
I think the side note that I'll say that is really, really shit about that is in my experience and, other people who have shared with me, they often resurface when you finally feel kind of stable.
Yeah.
And you're starting to figure some shit out and being okay.
That's it.
And then your brain's like, haha, here it is.
When you start to feel comfortable, and often when you've got a network of really comfortable, solid people in your life, you can actually go, now I'm safe to unravel.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or the rest of your life has been pushing everything down and now you've relaxed and then
up she pops.
Up it comes. So.
Yep, absolutely. So
you came back to Australia because you had to leave dance because of COVID.
So when I came back, I was still, but determined that I was going back to the States.
Yeah.
I left a storage unit of things over there. I had things in the principal's office for the night I got back.
Yeah, wow.
gave a bunch of stuff to Vinnie's, but anything that I thought I would like need when I got back there, my bed, half my clothes,
Toaster.
my grandma's quilt, was all in America still. And then I stayed there for the first 3 months of the pandemic. Then the Oz government was shutting borders and I had to make a call. So I came back during the whole hotel quarantine fun times.
Did dancing online. Try to keep it in. What happened after COVID?
So I was in Melbourne for COVID. So lockdowns were pretty consistent.
Yes.
That was one of the hardest
in the world
lockdown cities.
Yes.
It was a lot. So I spent about 9 or 10 months in lockdown pretty much with just, little weeks in between. So I was pretty
Which
much.
also does your head in.
Yeah. I was training in my kitchen, getting injured because you're training on not a floor that you're supposed to be, determined that I will still stay with my team. So logging on to Zoom classes at 3 a.m. Australia time with America.
Full grit.
And full stupidity.
No passion, I would say.
Sure. Full unmedicated, I would say.
Well, it's also your dream. You're clinging to your dream. And when it's, when you're falling, you hang on. I mean, and the more you sense you're falling, the harder you hang on.
And perfection will drive that.
Yeah,
You do anything.
On top of with
perfectionist.
OCD and everything like that.
So,
So then how did that then, was that the trigger for it to resurface, or where did you suddenly go, bugger, I've actually been assaulted and I'm not okay?
And it genuinely was a moment like that. Like it was like this, wait, fuck? Like there was that moment, but now looking back, I can piece together about 3 years of moments or 4 years of moments that led to that. So I kept dancing in Australia, lost my visa because I'd been out of the States for too long, and then went to like a more local company, just get on stage a bit. Then Sydney Dance Company said, we're bringing PPY, so their pre-professional year, into the studio. Some people, I guess, thought it was a strange decision because I was going back to a training program, but everything in me knew it was the right decision. And I was lucky enough to get a few offers and others that were probably like financially more sound. I've been financially independent. I was given full scholarships to other places, but I don't know, like this is going to sound so.
Sydney Dance Company.
Yes and no, but it also sounds so woo-woo. I had a dream and I knew that was the one I was supposed to take. So I came. And against all better judgment. And then about 6 months into my first year, tore my hip. Or that sounds a bit traumatic, tore some ligaments. And it became chronic. I spent about 9 months trying to rehab it back to dance. Never quite got there. It's something that I still have to manage it a lot less than I used to, but I still definitely manage it. It's something that my CPTSD meds actually helped me a hell of a lot with.
Great.
Because of kind of the association with nerve pain. But the real moment for me, or I'd say there was a few. The first one that it seems such a nothing moment, but I haven't been able to shake it for the last few weeks. For those of you who know me, I'm obsessed with Grey's Anatomy, have watched every episode ever made sequentially. And there was I was in America and I was home alone. I don't know if I was sick or if my housemates were at a different rehearsal or something. And there was this episode and someone was assaulted and I could not get the man from back in Australia who had assaulted me, but at this time I wasn't able to call it that out of my head. And I actually remember calling someone and just sobbing and going, I don't know what's wrong with me tonight.
Wow.
I can't get this out of my head. I was like,
it's not positive memories.
It's not positive memories. And I'm going, but it's ridiculous.
Something's haunting you.
That TV show was about sexual assault. Why would I be thinking about this? And I think because, mine wasn't rape, which I think is a very strong idea that a lot of people have of sexual assault. And I was groomed
but
over.
Still an assault.
Still an assault, but I
And still heinous and awful.
Absolutely.
And a violation of your freedom and your
Body.
self.
Yeah, absolutely. But it took me a long, long time to see
And
that.
trust.
Yeah,
And a lot
you
of
did.
therapy to
I
see
watched you
that,
do that.
that it still was assault. And I think I was just going like, I'm going insane. Like I watched this thing about assault and now I can't get this out of my head. And I was groomed over 7 years. So there was a lot of layers in there. So that is something that I keep coming back to. And I remember the person I called from back home saying, TV shows are meant to kind of bring things up. Like, maybe you're associating it, maybe you're not. Like, give yourself 4 days and like set yourself a time limit. And if you're still feeling like that in a few days, then maybe we talk about therapy or, look at some things. So I went back to dance. I was fine to a certain extent. I did actually start therapy in America around about then and was diagnosed with clinical episodic depression, which is not a diagnosis that I stand by then or now, if I'm being honest.
I got that wrong.
Yeah. And that diagnosing process was interesting. Yeah, it was a questionnaire, which I have thoughts about.
Yeah.
But started that, came back, a few things like that kept happening. I'm not sure timeline-wise whether the Taylor Swift documentary was before or after the flashback, but like the other thing that people know about me is I'm the biggest Swiftie in the world. I literally was wearing a Swiftie cap when I came in here today. And I was watching the Miss Americana documentary. And Taylor went to court for assault for a man who had violated her on the red carpet. And I remember laying in bed watching this and I was like, what do you mean? She got to go to court and that was convicted and she wasn't raped? And it was this I was like, I genuinely didn't know that you could get a conviction or call it assault without rape.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the other...
When you say rape, you're talking penetration.
Penetration, sorry, yes. Yeah, like penetration. And I also at that time thought in my head, which I now know is so common, of like the fawn or the freeze response.
Yeah.
But I think the depictions that you, or at least for me, often saw of rape in the media and things like that, the person was fighting.
Yeah.
And I was not fighting.
No.
And so I was like, well.
So you were groomed.
So it can't be. I wasn't fighting. I laid there.
Yeah.
I now look back and saw so many ways in which I did fight.
Yes. Yes.
But yeah, so there was that, and then there was a treatment for my hip, and a male practitioner put his hand on my hip.
This was in Sydney, wasn't it?
In Sydney,
Yeah.
which was an area that the abuser had really treated a lot on me. And looking back now, I believe in...
That's a big trigger.
Yeah, looking back now, I believe he had started to push the boundaries for many, many years in his treatment of that area. But I can't legally say that, so I won't. But this man put his hand on my hip and the whole thing just played like a movie in my head. And I remember just thinking, I just have to get through the rest of this treatment. And this man was like a visceral therapist. And
the assailant?
Sorry, no. The person who had the hand on the hip when I had the flashback. Yeah. And I remember just feeling sick and going, the room was spinning and going, just act normal, finish the treatment.
Panic attack.
Yep. Got to my car after the appointment and was like, what the hell was that?
Yep.
Decided to email my therapist, who I had been seeing for years at this point, and said, or like scheduled an appointment or confirmed my scheduling or whatever, and said, there's something that I have to tell you, but I need your word first that this man won't get in trouble if I tell you this. And I made him sit there and go through all the rules and regulations of what he had to share and what he didn't have to share from a therapy session that was disclosed in a therapy session. I wanted to know every detail. I was going to make sure that I protected this man and that nothing was going to happen to him.
Protected the perpetrator.
Protected the perpetrator, and that nothing was going to happen to him by me sharing my story of how he just made a mistake, which again was grooming for years and years. So it was a culmination of all those things, and then, thus began years of therapy. I then had it told to me that there were others. I then had someone reach out to me after the podcast, which we always say when you know, because I gave nothing in that podcast to tell who it was. And she reached out to me and she's like, oh, can I ask you some questions? And I just kind of instinctively knew as well and was like, look, I wasn't able to say this on the podcast at the time, but I was in police investigation.
Yep.
And I kind of said, if you think we have a shared experience, like I can't talk to you because it's collusion.
Yep.
But here's the number of the police centre that I'm going through.
Wow.
And then it became a few years of us.
Which is isolating.
And we weren't allowed to talk for years. We're like,
so isolating.
and she was my friend. And yeah, we couldn't talk. I had everyone muted on social media so I wouldn't accidentally see anything for cross-examination or jeopardise it in any way, because I can only speak from my experience, but it feels like as the victim or the complainant, it's up to you to kind of protect the case and
absolutely.
not do the wrong thing during the investigation.
You know, my sister and I were complainants in our matter of our own child sexual abuse, and my sister and I could not share each other's statements with each other, and I wasn't able to see her statement until after the matter had ended. And it was so interesting then to read her statement after the event, and then I realised how the police were able to put the case together, whereas our stuff sounded very different, but there were moments that were tight enough, and it was really important that we never ever shared that information at the time. And it was really affirming after it.
So you got to take this person to court?
Yeah.
I did. It was about 2 years of police investigation. It's not a short process. And then I went to court.
And that wouldn't have been easy, I imagine.
No. It had its ups and downs, and it's very stop-start.
Yep.
And like I was saying with the memory resurfacing, for me it always felt like just every time I settled and was like, okay, things are settling here, or there's nothing really happening at the moment, I would get a no-caller ID call.
From the police. Yeah, here we go again.
Yeah, here we go again.
Yeah, I know how that feels.
Back into the trauma.
Yeah, throws you back in.
Yeah, and I would just, again, I don't know if this was my subconscious. People can look into it however they wish. I'm not pretending to know, but usually a day or two before any big change in the investigation, I would have it really on my mind, or I would have a dream about him or something like that. And then I'd be like on guard for days, like something's coming, and usually it did. So that didn't help that process. But
I used to get very keyed up just with a mention. I was working in a private girls' school, and I knew that the mention was happening in the same suburb. And I used to have these horrible anxious thoughts that there'd be a drive-by shooting and I would be the one that would be killed before we actually got to court. It's overwhelmingly stressful period. Even before you actually get to court.
What keeps you hopeful in that period?
I think you just have to stay on the step you're on. Like when I thought too far ahead, that's when it was incomprehensible. But it's, you know, right now I'm doing this part of the investigation. Right now I'm doing this part of the investigation.
With
right
the
now,
hope of...
Honestly, I tried not to even keep that in my head because I knew that statistically there was such a small chance that I would get to court. And if I did get to court, get a conviction, which I actually did. And I do not take that for 1 second for granted. There are so many thoughts, feelings, layers and emotions around it. But for a long portion of the investigation, I didn't dare think that I would. I thought it
get a conviction.
Get a conviction. I just thought it might make him wake up a little bit.
Yeah, right.
I was wrong.
You know, just for our listeners, in New South Wales, only 8% of people that report sexual assault that ends up going to before a magistrate or before the court actually result in a conviction.
Yeah.
And as you said, Sarah, it's a huge outcome. A lot don't even get to court.
Yeah.
No.
And that's And it's a tragic, awful shame that people are living with this.
Absolutely. And I have permission to share this today that I know of others, as I said, that did go to the police with this abuser who have not been able to and will not get their day in court.
Yeah.
But the day in court and the conviction, it hasn't made it all better, has it?
No.
Has it helped?
Depends on the day. I was thinking of a way to answer that diplomatically, but you can't.
Just answer it honestly.
Yeah, like it really depends on the day.
Yeah.
I thought there would be a lot more closure than there was. I think I had a horrific experience at court and that is its whole own thing that then you're dealing with.
Yeah. Anyone who has seen court or been involved in a process like that where you have a barrister at you, they're not soft.
No, they're ripping right into you, hey.
And I was a part of a process of a victim of sexual assault where the barrister was actually accusing the person of doing the wrong thing.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. And that's just horrendous. And you have gone through that, and that's got to leave its marks as well as I got
you're already
the win.
in trauma. Hang on,
I got the win, but it did come at a cost.
And it did not feel like a win.
No. Yeah.
At all. And I think
because the perpetrator ended up not going to court. There's no jail.
There was no jail. There was other
Punitive things.
Other sentences.
But not that would make you happy.
And right up until, to be honest, I don't even know if jail would have made me happy.
No.
Who knows? And even up until the week before sentencing, I was having, panic attacks about the sentencing hearing and feeling like, it's all my fault because, again, grooming. And I even feel really scared to say that here because I'm like, they're going to use that as like a legal loophole to get back at me, but they can't. It was proven in court
that you were assaulted.
That I was assaulted and I was underage. So I absolutely did not give consent. Let's make that very, very clear. But had I, it would be inadmissible because I was
still underage.
I was 17 and he was in his late 50s.
Yeah, it's a crime.
And it intimately touched you.
Yeah.
For a long time.
Yeah.
And
that's right.
There was that, but I actually think that there were other aspects of the assault that affected me a lot more than the touch.
And grooming now is an offence.
Yes.
Even if it doesn't lead to an actual assault, it's still an offence. And it's all just wrong.
It is.
I think one thing, because we're just about out of time, what's your positive takeaway from this? Because it wasn't getting the outcome that what court is about, which is a conviction. How has this actually, where have you won in this? Where have you found that sense that actually there's been some satisfaction in this process that was inflicted upon you?
I fucking held my ground.
Yeah.
Like for years, even when other people weren't supporting me, when other people were doubting me. I was lucky. I always had at least two people, yourself being one, in my life that supported me and had my back the whole time. And I remember calling you the day I decided to go to the police. I pulled over on the side of the road, panic attack 3 hours from home. But no matter how scared I was, I held my ground. And I think what you were asking before about the grace, I probably want to change my answer to be that I knew I wasn't doing it for me because nothing could undo what happened. But for me, it was the right choice to do what I could to stop others from experiencing it and being at his hands. So I think...
And that's a hope.
That's a hope. That was that he was going to be stopped. That was my hope. And that, I would keep going. And then I think being believed, and you were with me the day.
Oh my God. We'll talk about that in the next episode. I'm telling you, I sat there, I heard it, and I heard what the magistrate said about her. Oh my gosh, I wanted to own it for my own self. It was just like epic, Sarah.
You can own it for your own self, Ness.
I've got chills thinking about it. It was so powerful.
And I think as we wrap up for this part, and we're going to continue with another conversation, if you hear somebody, if somebody comes to you and says that they've been assaulted, listen.
Don't ask questions.
Don't ask questions, and certainly don't challenge. The worst thing you can say is, "Are you sure?"
I think,
or, that couldn't have happened.
I think for me it was, no one particularly questioned the event. I told most of the details the night it happened. It took me a few other years to give the rest of the story, but just wrapping up, the thing I will say is people didn't question the event. They questioned my relationship with the man and my involvement and leading up, and a lot of people question that. And when you've been groomed and that's what you're already telling yourself, to then have to defend that to other people.
And to yourself.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
Being believed in court.
So you've gone from victim, and these are not in order, but victim to survivor. To be flourishing.
Advocate.
And into advocate.
Yeah.
Depends on the hour, but yeah.
But there's a sense that it hasn't left you.
No.
But it doesn't, like you not being a dancer anymore. You're not defined by the assault. It doesn't define who you are.
Yes and no. I think, I've brought it up in therapy before that now advocacy is a lot of my drive, and I wonder if I just replaced ballet with advocacy.
Yes.
Just gave myself a whole other thing.
That's not bad. It's not a bad thing. It's called coping.
Yeah.
And we cope as we can.
Yeah.
But it's a positive way of coping rather than an unhelpful way of coping.
Most of the time, until you use it to not
obsessive,
deal with anything else in your life.
Well, there we go. There we go. All right. Well, thank you, Sarah Rose. That's an amazing part one. So if you're still going, there wasn't enough hope and this is filthy hope, where's the hope?
The grace is coming, listeners.
Yeah.
Plenty of grace coming.
And some other stuff. So, wow.
Thank you.
We're sorry, again, that you've had to go through all that. No one should go through that. And
Thank you.
it's not right. And we believe not only you, but we believe that we want a world without that. And that's our prayer, that no one ever should have to go through any of that. No one should have ever had to go through it.
And you are
for God's sake, literally for God's sake, can we please make a world where no one has to suffer anything that's awful?
Can we just have shit people not be shit people?
Yeah, just be nice.
Would be great.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great?
Would be fantastic.
And
that
then if you do
great.
something bad, own it and change.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yes.
And make it right if you can.
Yes.
Anyway, thanks, Sarah Rose.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for listening.
You've been watching Filthy Hope. And again, if this has been triggering for you, or you find, as Sarah Rose says, that this is bringing something up for you, talk to someone, reach out, get some help, or talk to Lifeline, or a friend that you trust, somebody that you think is safe. And the police are always a good place.
Yeah, to start.
There's victim groups that are there to listen, and they know, and they've been trained how to listen well.
I think two specific resources I would really like to give would be Blue Knot, which was one that I found further into my journey, particularly if you do experience CPTSD. They are complex trauma specialists. And again, it's a call line. They're only in office hours, but they are fantastic, just talking to you through a moment and remembering that if you do wish to speak to a police about an assault, there are specialised sexual assault teams that you can go to.
Yeah. We'll pop those into our show notes. Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Ness.
Thanks, Jono. See you next week.
Stay hopeful, people.
Thanks for listening to Filthy Hope today. If you're not already a subscriber, could you maybe subscribe? It's going to really help other listeners find us.